How would you assess your progress to date as a stand-up comedian?
I think it's been interesting. I think, when you first start out, you have this like rapid improvement that, it's like you go from being terrible to much better, and then, or not much better than you were anyway. You're still not good, but like you have these rapid, learning cycles at first. And then, what I've noticed is as time goes on, it's much more incremental steps. It's like, instead of, having a 30% improvement, if there's, some way of measuring that, like every year, all of a sudden it's, now we're talking 5%, or, there's just sort of subtler things going on. And so that's interesting. I think it's, something to keep in mind, that you can't just keep learning at that rapid rate. The changes are going to be smaller. Mm-hmm. And also maybe you're going to have to work harder. I mean, it's going from bad to good is one thing, and then going from good to great is another thing. And I think that's, something that's can be tough, where you realize like, oh, now you're trying to, really excel at something. And, maybe if you're an athlete, it's like trying to shave off those final seconds as a sprinter or something like that. But you're really, honing something and trying to perfect something, as opposed to just learning how to do it in the first place. And it's a different, point of the evolution of doing it. I still definitely think I'm getting better, but it's been at a different rate than it was before. So it's been interesting to sort of examine that. And I don't know, I think what I talk about has changed. I think I was a lot more outward facing when I started, and like just sort of pointing fingers at other people, or like making observations about the rest of the world. And, right. I know I really wanted to be like a truth teller, and, I'm going to tell the world, what's going on. And sort of what I realized was like hunting for the truth. Like the first thing you have to kill is your own ego. Sort of what I realized after a while was like, oh, well, I need to expose myself, or, if I'm going to tell everyone else how they're full of shit, like how am I full of shit? Right. And start making myself more vulnerable, or admitting things on stage, or, what if I'm going to examine the rest of the world that way, examine myself that way. Mm-hmm. Also in part because it's a way to get the audience on board. Like if you just walk around calling everyone else a jerk, they're going to think of you one way. If you're like, here's why we're all jerks, that's a different thing. And then if it's here's why I'm a jerk, then that's a different thing. And there's different levels of endearing that each one of those is, I think.